my God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm.
What's the
Everybody
procedure,
stay
everyone?
calm.
What's the procedure?
Stay calm!
Wait.
Everybody calm down!
Oh my gosh. We have a lot of Batman Beyond news to talk about, guys. I am so excited to talk about it, along with my guest, Serum Lake. I hope I said that right. Last time I pronounced people's names, I got made fun of. So let's just jump right into it. So a couple days ago, Yuki Demers, the person who made the visuals for Into and Across the Spider-Verse films, recently tweeted out, 5 months ago, Patrick Harbin walked into WB's Pictures and pitched a Batman Beyond animated feature. Before we pitched, they warned us there's absolutely no way we could do a Beyond film. But they loved our enthusiasm. We pitched the outline for the entire film, and what started as a never turned into a maybe. This means the film isn't cancelled, but is not in development either. The concept art that was revealed to the public is just amazing. One of the most breathtaking pieces of art I've seen in a long time. Taking a closer look at the concept art, one of the things I spotted was the new logo design. There are some changes to the original design that I don't mind. It's trying to be its own thing while staying true to the source material, and I appreciate it. I also spotted some companies in the background. The first one that caught my eye was AC Chemicals, a classic location in the Batman mythos that appears in a lot of media. It's usually a place where the Joker is created or used as background, and not much else. Janus is another company that appears in the concept art, which is owned by Black Mask. If you played Batman Arkham City, you might have recalled Janus the Steel Meal. Thanks Luke for pointing this out to me, really appreciate it. There are also some other companies in the background that I have no idea what they are. I tried searching what they are, and that brought me to DC characters that I have no idea who they are. I'm not even going to bother researching them or digging any deeper into it. It's kind of weird that they didn't include Fox Tekka or Wayne Powers in the art. Fox Tekka was first introduced in Batman Beyond in episode 3, Blackout, of the series, and later appeared in Gotham Knights. I like Blackout, it's a good episode to watch. This is the first time we're introduced to the Batmobile, Fox Tekka, and ink in the series. Not seeing Wayne Powers in this art also leads to some pretty interesting theories I have for this film. One theory I have is Wayne Powers doesn't exist anymore, and Bruce Wayne has retaken control of his company, and the film starts with Terry already being Batman, and it's not our origin story. Or Wayne Powers does exist in this universe, and it's just not shown to us, and the film is just an origin story, which it probably is because, let's be honest, not a lot of people know who Terry McGinnis is. I don't know, I'm just trying to figure out what the film could be about. There's no plot synopsis or anything about the film, and there hasn't been a lot of big serialized Batman Beyond stories they could pull from, unlike his counterpart. The only big storylines they could pull off from that I could think of are Near Year, Near Gothic, the White Knight Beyond series, or the Brother Eye storyline where Terry dies and Tim Drake takes the role of Batman Beyond. But I highly doubt they're going to adapt those stories, and it's just going to be its own thing.
I am firmly of the opinion that Terry McGinnis is the true successor to Bruce Wayne's Batman, and I know in the comics it has been clearly established that there is a line of succession. When Bruce can no longer be Batman, it's up to his adopted children, Dick Grayson, Tim Drake and Jason Todd, if Jason ever gets his act together, to adopt the mantle of the Bat. And then of course there's his biological son Damian, who views it as his inheritance. However, to quote John Lennon, "Life is what happens to you when you're busy making other plans." With the possible exception of Damian Wayne, Batman's children each have their own distinct personalities and identities that should be embraced rather than cast aside at the behest of Batman. They should not be forced to become Batman, they should be allowed to be their own men. So why do I think that Terry McGinnis works so well as a successor to Batman? It's partly because it wasn't something that was planned for him, barring the events of Justice League Unlimited's epilogue, but do remember that Amanda Waller's scheme was scrapped almost a decade before Terry became Batman. When we meet Terry in Batman Beyond Rebirth, we can see that he's a plucky kid, a little rough around the edges, but he has a good heart. He protects a woman on the train from a Joker trying to rob her, not because he seeks praise or a reward, but because he can't stand bullies. He has the ability to do something about it, so he does. We see that same dislike for bullies when he gets into a fight with school bully Nelson Nash. Terry is justified in his anger, but he's a little too quick to resort to using his fists. Terry is frustrated with his life. Yes, he has a solid relationship with his girlfriend Dana, but he doesn't have any direction. His parents divorced years ago and they're busy trying to live their own lives. They just don't get him. And I think that's a feeling a lot of people can relate to. Certainly more than an orphaned circus boy, a boy genius, or a little boy raised to be the deadliest assassin in the world. After getting into a confrontation with some jokers outside of a nightclub, Terry flees on a motorbike and ends up straying into Bruce Wayne's life. From here, Terry embraces his destiny to become the next Batman. You could argue that it's all a bit too contrived, especially when you take into consideration the events of Epilogue, which, dear God, I'm trying my hardest not to spoil for anyone that hasn't seen it, so go watch it if you haven't already. But something about that quote from John Lennon speaks to me, and I feel it applies perfectly to the DC Animated Universe Batman. The fact that Bruce Wayne made all these plans, all these contingencies for when he was no longer able to carry on as Batman, and they all fell apart, is so beautifully painful. Bruce had no intention of becoming a mentor. He didn't want to bring Batman back. He was done with trying to save Gotham. But life had its own plans.
Thanks, Serum Luke. Jumping into the next piece of art, we see Terry walking through the alley, holding a batarang. When taking a closer look, it's the same design as in the cartoon, and that's nice to see. One of the things I disliked about the costume, which applies to the original design, is that Terry's gauntlets only has 2 fins, and that bothers me a lot. Like, why couldn't it be 3 fins? Like, what? In the only concept art, we had 3 fins, and Dari Cook even drew Terry with 3 fins on his gauntlets. Like, it's not hard, just put another one there. It's still a cool design. I still love the Beyond suit. It's just a tiny nitpick that I have with the suit, and I'll get over it. The only concern I have with this concept art is that I don't see Terry's classic utility belt. Look, I love the utility belt, especially Terry's belt, and I hope they keep his utility belt because he looks naked without it. Then the last concept art, which is my favorite one out of all of them, is Terry flying away from ink. With this concept, we can see a better close-up of Terry. I like how they kept the long pointy ears, and I like the expression they used for Terry's mouth. Of course, Ink is the best looking design here. I love how Ink's body just splashes across the screen, kind of how they did it with Spot in the Cross the Spider-Verse movie. It's unclear what her role is in the movie. Maybe she's the main villain or a villain from higher. Who knows? I've heard a lot of people saying, man, WB must hate money for not greenlighting this film, or WB, what are you doing? You're sitting on $1 billion movie right there and they're not greenlighting the movie? For the most part, I'm in totally agreement with the fans. However, there are reasons I have as to why they haven't greenlighted the film yet. Just to make it clear for everyone, this is just a speculation on my part, so take this as a huge grain of salt. So, does anyone remember a while back, it was revealed that WB could only market a few movies a year because they couldn't avoid marketing other films? My theory is that WB is so tight with money right now, they're not convinced that Batman Beyond animated film is going to make a ton of money back for them. Into the Spider-Verse film cost around $90 and made around $384 back, and its sequel, Cross the Spider-Verse, cost around $100 million to be made and made around $690 million. Those are pretty good numbers considering how much it costs and to make those films, but probably not enough for WB to consider investing. They're in so much debt right now, it's like insane, like holy smokes. I can understand why they don't want to make the film for that reason, but there's been another report that James Gunn is producing a Justice League Dinosaur animated movie. We don't know if it's theatrical or not, or if it's even true, but if it is true that he is producing a Justice League Dinosaur animated movie, I'm gonna lose it. Like, why make a dinosaur movie instead of a Spider-Verse style Batman Beyond film? I'm not saying they shouldn't make a Dinosaur Justice League movie, but it has to be after they make a Batman Beyond animated movie. If you guys want to see this project come to life, please reach out to James Gunn about this movie in a kindly manner, and use the hashtag Batman Beyond to spread the word around. Please, James Gunn, we need our boy back. Lastly, in the new Crisis on Infinite Earths movie, Part 2, it was revealed that Batman Beyond would make an appearance. How big of a role he will be in the movie is a mystery to me, or if this is the same Batman Beyond as seen in the cartoon. When looking at the design of Batman Beyond in this film, for the most part, the Tomorrowverse did a really good job adapting the Beyond design and staying true to the original design of the series. Side note, I think the Tomorrowverse designs are great, especially Batman's design. One of my biggest concerns when they announced that Batman Beyond was going to be in the film was who was going to voice Terry, and thank goodness that Will is returning to voice Terry again after 10 years. The last time he played Terry was that 75th anniversary short by Darwin Cook. Having another actor voicing Terry just wouldn't feel the same without Will. Batman Beyond was Will's first time voice acting in an animated cartoon. Since then, he has voiced other characters in the DC universe and other projects. Nightwing, Gearhead, Blue Beetle, Kid Flash, Star-Lord, Ron, Deadpool, and that British soldier.
It happened again! Look out, monsters! Fire at will!
That's pretty much all I have to say about the Tomorrowverse. Do you have anything to say about Terry joining part 2 of Infinite Crisis, Serum Luke?
What do I think about Will Friedle coming back to voice Batman in Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 2? That's totally shway.
Shway. Before we leave, I want to give a huge special thanks to Serum Luke for being on the show. He was very kind to me when I asked him to be a guest star for this video.
Please, 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 please.
Go check out his channel. He makes great Batman the Animated Series videos on his channel, as well as other pieces of content, and I highly recommend going to his channel and subscribing to him. Anyway, that's the video I have for you guys, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.